Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today with me I have my beautiful student Vishakha. Vishakha, welcome to the channel. It's so nice to host you here today. I still remember seeing you about a year back. I think we started talking on calls about your clients and all the things that you were facing with negotiating certain deals. And since then I met you this year in Delhi. And now we are doing this together. So it's such a happy moment for me to just have you here to talk about your entire journey from getting started to making lakhs as a freelancer. So thank you for agreeing to do this. How are you doing? How is it going?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. And thanks for having me on the call, by the way. And and I'm doing really great. I remember that when I started, I got in batch 4 last August. And again, we are in September. So it's like 1 year anniversary of me as a F101 student.
Thank you so much for being one of my favorite F101 students, not because of your results, but because of your energy. I just love your energy, which is why we'll talk about this in depth. But actually, Vishakha has worked with quite a few of my own clients. And, whenever she has dropped her portfolio, I have personally told my client, you know what, give her a little bit of consideration because I know that her energy is infectious. And I know from the back end, since I've talked to my clients about your performance, that they have always told me things like, that girl Vishakha, she's really, really good. And, recently one of our clients actually had to move to a full-time team. So Vishakha wasn't working with them after that. And they were like, I wish she did. I wish she did come on board. So she's always wowed my clients, and that is something I have known because she worked with them so closely. So I think I have multiple relationships with Vishakha. So that is kind of nice because it's very rare. We'll talk about her journey, and without any further ado, let us get started. So the first question that I want to ask you, Vishakha, is that you have been freelancing for some time now. So how did it get started for you? What was the reason why you chose that you want to become a freelancer? Why did you want to make money online and not go the traditional route? You're still in college, right? So why this career?
So actually my first semester exams got over in March 29th of 2021. And it was the COVID period. So 3 days after, I started posting content, book reviews, memes, J shit, whatever the hell, like super embarrassing and everything. And I come from a very humble family. So I hated this fact, that I have to ask my dad for a pizza. And pizza is a big deal, obviously. So I really hated this because I've seen my parents sacrificing especially from a middle class family, I've seen them sacrificing their needs to fulfill my luxurious wants. And I was like 19 years old and I really didn't want, and second, come from a stereotypical family. So I wasn't allowed to wear short dresses and, go out and do all this stuff. So I knew that if I want to wear that short dress or buy myself that, I need to get something done. So I took a drop year in 2020 and I used to watch those entrepreneurs videos and all, how to get my business started and all. Fast forward in April, I started posting this content and I got to know about your profile. I saw one of your videos, book videos, because I love reading books on YouTube, and there I got to know what is freelancing. In fact, it was you only who brought me into this space, who explained what is freelancing. I didn't even know what's the meaning. So I started posting content. I started looking forward to your content and other people's content. Then I just followed the bandwagon and wrote on my Instagram profile that I'm a SMM for coaches, even though I didn't even know what the hell an SMM even does. So in June, I wrote this thing. I actually changed my bio at least 4 to 5 times. In July, I got my first client within first month because she was an inbound lead. She really liked the copy, the title I used to write for my Instagram, secret sauce and the KISS strategy, like keep, improve, stop, and start the copy.
So let me ask you a quick question, Vishakha. What is an inbound lead? Because the people watching this may not even know what that is. So can we talk to them beginner freelancers? So if they're asking you, okay, I want to make money and I want to make money via getting inbound leads. What is that? What does that even mean?
Inbound lead, as the name suggests, is someone who asks you, who comes in to ask for your service. Yeah, I want someone to work on this project. Will you be able to do this? That person comes to you rather than you going to that person. Simple as that. So in July,
something like KISS strategy. That sounds inappropriate. What is KISS strategy?
Yeah, KISS is like, I posted on my carousel, like, you are not following the KISS strategy. Like, K is for keep. What are the things you should keep in your strategy? I is for improve. What are the things you should improve? S is like what you should start doing. Let's say if you're not good with the thumbnails of your video. And the next S is for the stop. Like what is not working for you, stop doing. So really like the title I used to make. I was a quirky, well, us time I was even more witty because no one was following me. So I didn't had any fear. So she followed me and she just messaged me, and then we got on a call. I converted that client, and that client is the one unke saath I'm still working, and that was the only client, like one of my best case studies till now, and I've converted her to my revenue share. Like I work with on a revenue share with her. And
Yeah, so
what
your business partner, the investor approach to freelancing.
exactly?
And that is something I think we spoke about. I think you were asking me about it last year, that how do I go from getting paid a fixed fee to asking for a revenue share? And this is something I have already talked about a few times on my channel, that if you want to have a long-term approach to freelancing, you cannot be getting just a fixed fee. You need to have some scalability to your income, even if you don't scale the number of your clients, because it gets very tiring to work for 10 clients, 20 clients. Not everyone wants that lifestyle. If somebody does, that is fine. But most people don't. They want to be more free. That's why they choose freelancing. So what was it like for you converting this particular client from a fixed payment to getting a revenue share? And what's your top tips for people who want to get paid based on results?
First of all, I was shit scared to even pitch her. So actually, I procrastinated this for 3 months. I still
Yeah,
remember.
I remember because you asked me the question a couple of times over a span of a few months. I'm like, "Acha, abhi tak kyun nahi kiya hai?"
I was shit scared because at one point, I think on a personal level, because of this mindset, I personally feel like strategy definitely helps anyone, freelancer, agency owner, but mindset also plays a huge role. So I got to realize that my mindset is not that. I don't feel like that I deserve it. That why should I get a 10% share if she's making 10 lakhs? If I'm writing 2 mails, then those 2 mails, how can those 2 mails be worthy of 1 lakh rupees? So that was my mindset. But I eventually realized that doesn't matter if I'm writing 1 line or 100 lines. If she is getting the result, that's it. Full stop. Period. I deserve that. It actually helped me as well because in the second month we didn't hit our income goals at all. So I kind of knew that this will come, but it kind of motivated me that I got so obsessed with results. Like we increased our revenue to 4 times in the within the next 2 months. So I could see ki हाँ ये तो करना, and obviously that actually helped me as well because now I have a new case study in my portfolio. It's not like a free or for a reduced price or anything, but now I have a new case study, and even better, that actually helped me in February. If I was charging 20K, but now I've tripled my minimum of my package is around 60K, and that happened because of those. Wow. And that challenged my mindset. That's I think one thing I realized, that the more uncomfortable you become, the more challenging it is, the more growth you will have.
100%. It sounds like you've taken a very big risk. That's what has rewarded you so much. And I think there's no one that I know who makes a lot of money that hasn't taken the risk of literally losing it all. I remember when I got started in this revenue share thing, mentally I was like, I'll take 3 clients like this, and I will make sure at least 2 of them work out, because for every client that doesn't work out, it means like zero revenue, for even if I work like a lot for them. So that's like very high risk. So have you always had this high risk appetite, or is it something that you developed after you made a little bit of money?
Actually, I would tell you a very little story. Last year, I made around for 6 months straight. I was making just 16,000 per month because I got an eye injury. So I was on bed. I wasn't even allowed to read anything for 1 month. So obviously, I lost the client. Only one client stuck with me because that was the same client. We were working for more than a year. So everything was organized. So, when 2022, when I had to make that decision, I was like, if I can, if I can face and overcome 2021, then I can do anything, because 2021 was the lowest. I didn't have any time, resource, or money, or neither health. But in 2022, I had that money that, let's say, if for 3 months I don't get a single cent, I would still be able to pay my college fees, or I need to pay for a new course or anything. I created that leverage. Same goes to time. I did know that I have strong case studies, which I didn't have in 2021. And same goes for the network as well that I made. So actually this thought that helped me, that क्या इससे बुरा हो सकता है. I just went with it and I just said, let's go with revenue share. And yeah, I actually did was in the lose everything. But again, I had this thing, isse pura kya hi ho sakta hai, and I just move forward. And that
It sounds like you were like at a rock bottom. So one of the things that always comes to my mind when I hear something like this, it's something that I have felt maybe years back. And I hear these stories that, you know, when you feel like you neither have time, nor you have resources, nor your health is also not aiding you. So something, okay, fine, I don't have money, I don't have resources, but I'll put in the hours and then that hustle, right? But you were physically incapable of doing that for some time. What was your mindset like at that point? Were you feeling like really upset, depressed, not being able to do this? Did you like think of quitting everything? Or did you question yourself? I really want to understand what that mindset was, if it was a very dark space, and if it was, how did you overcome that? Because I think the biggest battle we have is not with the world, but with ourselves.
So in 2021, actually, that was also the time when it reopened. So from online to offline, online doesn't, studies don't happen the best.
I'll send this clip to your teachers.
So offline, everything went offline, and my parents are not a very big fan of what I do. In fact, I have literally lied to them that I'm doing an internship. So I didn't have that support as well. So what actually pushed me, to be honest, I feel I was very, I mean, I don't know how to put it in words, but it's like I was the strongest in 2021. Because even at that time when my health was down, my money was down, I was like, that's it. I have hit rock bottom. There is nothing below. That's it. I don't have anything to lose anymore. What the worst could happen? There's nothing to lose. That's it. So, and one thing that I had a privilege was time. I was in my second year just crossed, and I have my courses for 4 years. So I was like, ठीक है, अभी 2 साल और रहते, so let's just continue with this and करते हैं थोड़ा. And secondly, I didn't want to quit because I got that, I got that taste of buying a Starbucks coffee, or that taste of buying my favorite. I was like, okay, cool. If I quit, I'm not at that age to get a job, and I do know that my parents will not give me money to get all those dresses. They will give me for money for like other things, but not for this. So I want to, but I can't. It's like many people do ask me that what motivated you. The thing is, nothing motivated me. It's just that I sacrificed at that time, and even now I have sacrificed a lot of my time. I would say invested a lot of my time, energy, and resources that I just can't quit. Especially, didn't come this far to just come this simple.
Absolutely. One of the things about you, Vishakha, is that in a very short period of time, you started getting really amazing clients in your portfolio. She has worked with clients like Finance with Sharon, who was like one of my top clients, and I only referred her. And she's also working with Ansh Mehra right now, who's very big in the AI space. So how do you get like these high caliber clients, very popular people who have no dearth of people ready to work for free for them? So how do you get clients like that? And how come you got it in such a short time? Because actually getting such clients, it took me like 5-6 years almost to get my best of best clients. I'm at my peak after 8 years probably of working. So how did you crunch your timeline? What did you do right?
So I would say that the first client in 2021 she got 20,000 followers within first month. In July, we onboarded. In August, she started with 3,000. In July 6th, 3rd of August, we hit our 20,000 followers. So I would say one thing that I realized at the very start, that not all your clients will get results. So you have to be picky there as well. And that's actually fine. You're also wasting other people's time and money as well if you do know that it's not a good fit. And secondly, I actually did my first hiring in the very first one. That was like one of the boldest steps. She was paying me 12,000 and I was paying my VA 6,000. So 50% cut I was giving her, but that actually helped me. Because then I was only focusing on what I am good at, refining. So the thing is, at that time, I didn't any course. I mean, I didn't have that money or anything. I couldn't ask my dad. So I don't know if I have to I was polishing my skills and giving my clients the result by applying my polished skills on her profile. So I outsourced everything, even if it meant I will only get a very like pennies. It's fine. It was fine. So I did what I was like quite good at that time, that is writing. I refined it, I hit. And second thing that helped me, that I niched down at that time. Like I was like, I only work with health coaches and all. And one of my, whenever I used to get on discovery calls, I said, yes, other SMMs can do this for that, but I only work with health coaches, so that's why I'm a little expensive or whatever. And that actually helped. I would prefer to work with someone who is very much who has more experience in my field. So that actually helped. And how I got Sharon and these clients, that sabse pehle to I made my portfolio like really, really well. Like my portfolio is of currently 15 pages, and out of 15 pages, 10 are of screenshots. That's it, no words. I think maximum 50 words are there in that portfolio, in that 15 pages.
Are you sharing your portfolio with our viewers?
Sure, I will share.
All right, guys. So Vishakha is very happy to share her portfolio. She says, just comment, I want Vishakha's portfolio, and we will send it across to you. Comment Vishakha's portfolio and your email ID, and we will send it across to you. Thank you so much, Vishakha. That is very nice of you. But what is special about your portfolio?
As I said, like my portfolio is of 15 pages and 10 pages are of screenshot. In that entire 15 pages of A4 size, it's not even the presentation, but A4 size, there are maximum 50 words. And there are screenshots. That's it. Just because one thing I realized that people don't read but scan. And Sharan, I will tell you what happened. That I sent across I actually applied very late because I got to know about that opportunity very late. So it was a very low chance because he had around 4 to 5 million across the social media. So I was like, who the hell am I? So I just dropped that email, and within 2-3 days, I got a response from their team. And they said they will get on a call with me. We got on a call, and one thing that actually helped me that I didn't, just spoke that I will do this or that. I created a presentation. It was a web chart of what will be the content pillars, what we can do with the stories. I actually analyzed their profile, and I realized that it's a company page. So we can't focus more on Sharan. Like Sharan can't do present himself. But it's important that we create a community that is engaging. So I created a story strategy. So you can say I gave something that people pay me for, but on that discovery call only. And at the end of the call, I remember the person who actually got on call with me saying that CDI says, we would love to have you because we care more about efforts than skills. I also feel like the efforts are something that needs to be there. Skills to aaja, wo improve ho jata hai. That's why I have a portfolio. So I would say that if you are on a call with someone like that, your efforts make a web chart or maybe create a case study or have them show them, just grasp their attention, however, because trust me, no one really does that. Even he has done. One thing I realized myself.
A lot of effort you put in, and I think that is something that I think I've shared so many of my resources with you, and of course all other students as well. So has that been helpful to you? And that moment, you're so talented, Vishakha. Why did you choose to join Freelance 101, and was it helpful for you? How much has it helped you in your entire journey of freelancing from scratch to the LAKHS that you're making today?
I joined Freelance F101 after 1 year of my journey, and one of the reasons why I joined was your live calls that you did. I still remember joining one of your Twitter spaces, and I was like, damn, always have respected you and your knowledge, but in that space I was like, if she is providing this much information on, it wasn't a live that was very much organized and you plan. It was
I'm not even active. It's the first time somebody saying they have heard me on Twitter.
So I had been following you on Instagram and YouTube, obviously, but that Twitter space was like, yes, I was like, that was an impromptu space, and she's providing this many things on an empty space. I have to join F101. And one thing that I always recommend to any freelancer, beginner or whatever, that if you want to join, I have always have this mindset that I will join and I will invest my 10,000. I will be able to make that 10,000 back. And that has actually proved to be very true until this point. So I joined that call for live case studies, and I still remember one of your resources that was actually a welcome resource. That wasn't, the attention or that type of resource. It was how to network. You created those 3 to 4 type of people to connect with. So that actually stuck with me. Like, yes, that was also one of the reasons I realized that networking too important and everything. It wasn't just resource, it was like pile up of multiple resources that has helped me. The way I've connected with people. Yeah.
Of course, freelancing is it's such a huge industry in itself. It doesn't exist in isolation. It's not like, okay, you work only on your skills and then you'll be rich, or you only work on meeting the right people, then you'll be rich. It's like you have to work on everything one by one, and as you can in harmony. So it's definitely very important. You have nailed it. You've networked with the absolute right people, and you're doing so well. So how is the pressure like? Like right now, you're getting paid a lot, right? So has that changed your mindset around how much pressure you're going to take at work? And if yes, how is that affecting your life in general?
The thing is, proving myself again and again. For example, many people just onboard me right now. I don't have to do that many live discovery calls and all I used to do last year because of the portfolio that I have right now. But it also comes with the pressure that I have to give them results, which is very true. Obviously, that's why they're even paying. But I think one of the pressure is I I'm in my last year. So I do have this thought, is this even worth it? Should I quit, or should I, just take a pause for 1 year, prepare for my master's? Or like my dad is obsessed with government service, like obsessed. So I lie to him and I say that I've read this, but I haven't done anything, to be honest. Yeah.
And this is all after you're making like so many lakhs and you're getting so many clients. Like I'm sure your parents know, right? It's check your bank account. So this is after. Oh, how do you deal with that when they ask you at home?
Actually, they don't know that much. I haven't told them anything. I actually got a MacBook for myself, and 1,40,000 thing buying, like obviously buying a laptop for 1,40,000, such a big deal. I remember convincing my father for like 3 months that this is the only money I have. I don't have anything else, so let me just spend it. And my parents are not at all support, but I do understand where they are coming from, because let's be real here, freelancing is a very good field, but it's quite unstable and scary. And then everything has its own pros and cons. Every job has its own pros and cons. So actually, what I deal with them is I just lie to them a lot. Trust me, I will go to hell for the.
Are they gonna see this video?
No, actually, I won't send them. I haven't sent a single of my interviews to them.
Let's just hope that they will never Google you.
I actually don't, yeah. Which kind of sucks is, obviously I do want my parents to say that they're proud of me, or at least have a little bit of trust in me, but they don't have, and that's fine. Everyone has their own traumas and all, but that's absolutely fine. So I'm like,
I find this really relatable because actually, even up till I was making a lot of money, my parents, initially they didn't know. Then when I crossed a certain income, of course, I had to tell them because the taxes become a big problem after that. So then they knew, but then they didn't tell anyone in my entire extended family that I'm already earning. They used to say like, she's not earning and she's just studying. Then the thing is, I started making YouTube videos and I was moderately known on YouTube. So some cousins would see, some cousin's friend would see and like, isn't that your cousin sister? So like it became like a big thing in the extended family. And then finally they had to say, okay, no, she's doing it, because I was making content constantly, right? So they could only hide it for so long. So, but my parents are exactly like that. Initially, they didn't acknowledge it. And then even if they did, they didn't want to tell anyone. I think it's more like the low-key, not that they're not proud of you or me. It's more like, okay, let's keep it low-key. Let's not tell people. But I think like so much of our career, especially since we're doing it online, it's actually based on telling people that, hey, I am good. Because if I don't, who the fuck will? So it's like I'm so torn sometimes between my parents and my career, because there are things that I write about, stories I write about. I recently wrote about an ex, and my parents saw it and they're like, oh my God, why are you writing this kind of stuff? I'm like, Mom, I'm a writer. It's my brand. So it gets awkward because, they don't want you to do this, but then you need to show it because your clients are hiring you literally for your storytelling skill. And I know what gets the clicks. So it's always a constant battle between what my family would like and I know is needed for my career. So I can totally relate to you. I know that your family and you will get over this phase slowly as you make more and more money, and your father has to have a look nicely.
The actually hiding part happens. The thing is, my other aunties and all are bragging about their kids. I shouldn't say this, but bragging about things which I have done better, you can say. Like
I hope that the kids are not seeing this video, because वो तो गुस्से में भेज देंगे यार.
Yeah, but they hide it like they're, I think one of the reasons why they hide it, they don't know how to explain it.
Right.
Sometimes they say that I am an intern at a company. Like even with Sharan, I went to his offsite. They're like, हाँ, एक internship में इसको prize मिला है. Just simple as that. So, but obviously we can't change their 45 to 50-year-old mindset. It's a very big time and they have their own struggles. So they're like, okay, I will just lie to them and चलता है चलाते हैं. Of this, and yeah. So this is how I'm dealing with my parents.
Yeah, but yeah, this is so relatable. I think for most Indian families and most of our audience, I think can actually relate with this. Please comment below about your parents. Do you understand what is freelancing, or do they not? Because my parents also didn't for a very, very long time. And I think the first time I got paid as a freelancer, my parents made a very huge ruckus out of it because they didn't understand where the money came from. In hindsight, I think they thought I'm doing something illegal. So I had a very, very bad episode with my parents when they saw that I had gotten money and they couldn't understand why. And this is like 8 years back. So there was no exposure around freelancing. Aajkal to fir bhi the exposure about freelancing is much more thanks to COVID. A lot of people got exposed to this world in India. But 8 years ago, I don't think anybody was even using this term. So it was, of course, very scary for my parents to even wrap their heads around that idea.
I remember my mom saying कि हम लोग कम पड़ गए क्या जो भी कमाना पड़ रहा है. That line, I was Actually, I gave her 2,000 to get so that she can buy herself a sari. That was my first income. And in those YouTube videos, they show how crying and all those. I was expecting something of that sort from my mom, कि she will get emotional and all. But the first time she said कि हम लोग कम पड़ गए क्या जो माना पड़ रहा था. So I just lied and I was like, passively I did what I am doing and at the same time trying to impress them by an act. Like I legit bought myself books of around like 1,000 rupees just to impress them. And I just open it and turn some pages in front of my dad, then I close it and get back to doing my clients. So
yeah, I think this is something, okay, today we're going to go a little off of freelancing, but since we are both like daughters, right? And this is something that I can relate to so much because my parents also hate taking anything from me. And it's really sad for me sometimes because of course I want to give them and I also want them to be happy. But it's like whenever I give my parents something, they have this sense of guilt as if they were like, kam pad gaye kya hum log. Not that, it's just that I want to give them the best of experiences and I want to take them to places. I want to do all of this. But there's such a sense of guilt. And for example, like when I think I started making really good money, I think four years back now, I was still living with my parents and I decided that I'm going to give my dad a phone because, one of the things that I think all Indian dads do is that they'll buy us a very good device and they'll use the one they've been using for last 10 years, which has like some buttons off. So I was like, okay, I'll get a nice phone for my father. And I got it and I really thought that he will be in tears when he sees it. But I gave it to him and he was like, he thanked me, but then he didn't even use the phone for I don't know when. Eventually my mom used when her phone got bad. And I was really hurt by that, with that crap. I got it for you and you're like wasting this. But I think like in my father's head, it's more like, how can I use something my daughter has paid for? Like I think it's more like that.
Yeah. Can you give me a second, please? My grandfather is here. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. My grandfather was here and he was saying ki khana kha lo itna der.
Struggles of Desi freelancing. Yeah, I think let's talk about Desi freelancing. Okay, what is something you think that only happens to Indian freelancers, Desi freelancers?
I think them seeing us as kids for some aspect, but them expecting us to be adults in other aspects. Like decide what you want us to be. I mean, I can't earn money, but I should know that I shouldn't waste money. But how am I supposed to know that I shouldn't waste money if I'm not earning money? I mean, obviously, it doesn't make sense. And my mom was like, you shouldn't go out. Like, she allowed me to go to, like, oh, by the way, I have to go to Bangalore at the end of this month, but I haven't told my parents yet. So I'm planning that what I will do. So I do know that she will allow me to go for 10 days in another city, but she won't allow me to attend a meetup that is at 5 p.m. in Gurugram. I'm like, hey, what's the line? What's the limit? Sometimes you're doing this, sometimes you expect that. So it's very confusing. So in fact, one of the reason why I always do my calls on the day that my mom is in a good mood, so that she won't just come barging in. Like, I'm doing calls with people from USA and all, and my mom is folding clothes behind me. And the play, like where I live, I don't have that privacy. I mean, obviously, my room is like a cupboard, like where my father keeps his clothes, my mom keeps those expensive clothes. We have ghar wale kapde on a normal rack, but the expensive one, the party ones, in a proper almirah. So I'm doing those calls and all, and my mom just comes barging in. My dad is like wearing his banyan and all and doing. I was like,
it happens, yeah.
That is one thing, and I just hope that they could have trusted me more. I really hate, I
reminding of my childhood when I used to live with my parents. I also used to do this calls, and my father had this habit of closing the curtains every night. I had hazed windows anyway, so nobody could anyway look in. I was not allowed to open the windows of my room because there was a boys' football ground, and my dad was very protective of. So I was not allowed. So windows to kabhi open nahi hote the, and the windows were also hazed windows. There's no way someone can see inside. But at night, he had the habit of closing the curtains also. Okay. So he would walk in every night. And one day I was on a call and he just walked in behind and started pulling the curtains. And I'm on an international client and I'm like, I don't even know what to do because I don't know what he's going to say. Sometimes he talks also, right? I don't think he realized because I think the client was talking. Usually they never did that, but that was one time that was very, very embarrassing. But the good thing is that I have it on record, my father closing those curtains for me. And now that I have all the independence, doesn't matter anymore, but then it's a very fond memory. One day I was seeing the video because I've shortened the clip and kept it with me because it's such a sweet thing that I always remember my father very fondly by, that he will just close the curtains. It's like really, really sweet. Another Desi thing that happens is like, there's this very popular Bengali serial called Shrimoy, jiska Hindi version is called Anupama.
Oh yeah, I do know that, yeah.
So Anupama started a few years back, but then Shrimoy started many, many years back. So when I was home, my mother was addicted to Shrimoy. Okay. And it's such a drama show and it is so attractive that at some point, like I was like, fuck, I can't do my client calls with that playing in the background because of course it was a small house. So you can hear. And that time of the day watching Shrimoy was like a bonding activity with my parents. So I didn't want to stop them from that. I'm like, it's such, I'll move out. So of course there was other reasons to move out, but there was a major thing, but that I only think will happen like in Desi families. So yeah, that was very, very funny. It's actually like really interesting that I can find you so relatable on this ground. And I think a lot of people can, because usually we only talk about like freelancing and working with clients, but there's so many hidden struggles and funny things about being an Indian freelancer. Talking about Indian freelancing, what do you think is the scope for an Indian freelancer working with international clients? Do they hire you? If they do, how much do they pay? And why should we prioritize Indian or international clients? Should we at all? What's your opinion? Because you, I think, work with both and you work with some of the highest caliber Indian clients. So of course, their paying capacity is higher than the average Indian business owner. So please give me your top tips for that.
So one thing that freelancer has to keep in mind that get rid of this thought that Indian or international, because the moment we have this thought, now we put the international client on a pedestal that is unreachable, like untouchable. We make ourselves untouchable. So it's important that you get rid of, because it also means that you don't care about your Indian clients as much as you care about international clients. And if you will have this mindset that they are not important, you won't be able to give them the results. Thus, you won't be able to make a good portfolio, because right now my best case studies, my best portfolios are from Indian people only. So just get rid of that person, like their nationality, and just stick with how they're pay. How will they be able to pay? Or do they have a caliber to shoot videos or to give them to give us the content or whatsoever it is. So this was one mindset shift that helped me. And yes, targeting international client is obviously a bit better because of the price pay parity. Price pay parity is like the difference. For example, for us, a 200 coffee is a lot, but for them, 200 rupees is like what I think, $3 or something, $3 to $4, if I'm not wrong. Which is again less. Like, trust me, sometimes our school fees is the pocket money they get, an average student there gets is more than our school fees. That says a lot. So obviously, yeah, targeting a $1,000 client in India, that is 75K, is a big deal, but in USA, $1,000 is important, obviously, but not as like 75K is equivalent to 1 lakh, which is something a dream for many people. So that's one of the reason I recommend targeting international, is because you have more you would be able to reach your income goals more, you can say, easily, or in a simple way. Say easy but simple way. But it's not like Indian clients don't. If you find, you will get some really good Indian clients.
Also, like something that I have seen in my experience when I was getting started, the worst paying Indian client would pay me like 2,000 or 3,000 rupees per month. But the worst paying international client will still pay me $200 to $50 a month, which is still a lot, like if you consider the price difference. Yeah. So even if you talk about the worst, like let's say you are actually pretty bad at what you do because you're just getting started, even then you're probably better off working with an international client who does not have a very good budget. Maybe they are also just starting off, so that's why they can't afford more. Because even the lowest would be like quite good for you as of now. So the clients are pretty good at that.
One thing one Canva freelancer can do, like, beta client is someone who you work for them for a very low price to get a testimonial, considering that you are a complete noob, complete beginner, you don't have any portfolio or anything. So you work for them at a lower price, just therefore calling them as beta client. So one thing, like a pro tip would be that target beta client, like international beta clients, because the thing is we also have this, that mentality that international people are ahead of us because of, mindset of British ruling us and all, everything basically. So when they see 3 to 4 people from India, like let's say 2 to 3 testimonials from USA, other clients like in India, they would be like, okay, this person has some quality. That's why people from USA is hiring her. Even though someone with another with a portfolio like more better results with Indian clients only, they have higher chances to going up with a freelancer who has worked with more foreign clients, because that mentality is still there. So I think it's obvious.
It's good for the portfolio. Yeah, it's good for the portfolio. And honestly, it's not that hard. It just feels hard because maybe you don't have any first-hand experience, but like ample international people hired from India. So yeah, it's probably one of the highest, like India and Philippines, I think they hire a lot of people from our countries, but you shouldn't work for less. I think a lot of people think that they are working with us to get lower prices, while for some it's true, but I would recommend you don't go into that business model. You don't think of yourself that way.
And there is this word we have, like I'm from Bihar, so we have this word, Hawa is like, there is no base, but everyone is just obsessed with them. They're just crazy about them. So I personally feel like one of the reasons why international clients are far away, like, people have this thing that they won't be able to reach because हमने Hawa बना के रख दिया है. The thing is that there is, like, someone said international people are difficult to reach, and then someone other just followed that person, and it's just like a chaos, and everyone is just following, and no one knows who the hell even started this thing.
100% agreed with you there. One of the things I want to know from you is, who is your favorite mentor of Freelance 101 and why? I hope it's me, but even if it's not, I'm cool with that.
Actually, it is you and Shrestha. I mean,
yeah, Shrestha. I should have Shrestha also for an interview. I've never should do that. You guys gelled a lot in Delhi, I remember.
Yeah, we were, one of the first for both of us who met in offline from online space, and we were from the same university, Delhi University. So we clicked there. But so obviously I have huge respect for it. Trust me, if you wouldn't have been there, पहले तो मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता freelancing क्या होता है. Secondly, even with all those mindset shifts and all, I think what happens that made me even realize that you helped me in some way, because you were advising some other person, but it hit me, like it became my core memory, and it was like in the back of my mind कि नहीं, उसको ऐसे बोला था, मुझे भी यही करना है. So that was something that I really appreciate about you, Shrestha, because Shrestha ke saath, one of the reasons is like she became a friend, and that relatability factor. One thing I really like about F101 is that there is a mentor for everyone. That relatability factor. If you are someone who is in a 9 to 5 job and wants to move to freelancing, there is a mentor who has already done that. If you are a college student and then wants to manage freelancing, there is a mentor for that. So I personally feel like that mentors are definitely someone who are like very strategic and all, but it's also important that we should relate to that mentor, 10 steps ahead, or there should be that personal connection. That's absolutely fine. So this is something that I really appreciate about F1, or you can say it's like a USP. There is a mentor for everyone. Relatability.
Yeah, this factor, no, I think relatability is so important. And I think I personally came across this realization because I was working on something in my health and I had a nutritionist. I think you can relate even more because you work with these kind of clients, right? So I had a nutritionist and she had all the knowledge. Okay? She had all the knowledge, but I could just not relate with her because she was at a very different stage of life, and she herself was not very motivated herself to work towards her health, to put it very lightly. It's not like a nutritionist has to look like Kriti Sanan or something, but for me, like, I need to feel like, okay, they are also driven, which is why I was choosing the mentors. I was like, mentors need to have their own careers which are really successful, even if that comes at the cost of them not being always available, but like they have to be somebody that others can look up to. Okay, I'll do this. And the second factor is that there needs to be some secondary motivational factor, because see, a lot of people have knowledge, but there are other reasons you can connect with people. Like, you don't connect with me just because of the knowledge. You connect with me probably because you see me and you're like, okay, she could be my elder sister. She could have known her in person and she's like that, right? So that factor you get, right? I think there's a vibe difference. So I always felt the college students will always relate more to college students. Always, like, even if the knowledge is a little less, still they will prefer to hang out with a college student than somebody who's 20 years older to them. They'll go to a 20 years old person to get advice, but they will not want to spend a lot of time with them. They will not day to day want to talk to them. So yeah, that's why Shrestha felt like perfect, and I'm glad that you connected. And there are like others as well. Like there's Rahel, who's like doing things full time, more mature. There's Megha, again, a little more mature, but then still quite young to tap into both the kind of audiences. There are people who have left their quit jobs and then doing it, and there are like moms. So I think like everybody has somebody for them, and I think like that is very important, because we we are like an average of the 5 people we hang out with. So I want to give you the options of those 5 people, and then you decide what you want to do. But I think company is so important. And talking about company, how has your company shifted? What is the kind of people you hang out with now, apart from your college friends? Do you hang out with your college friends? Do you get the time for that?
I have kept my company even in college very limited. Like I have only 2 to 3 friends, but I'm actually very grateful. They don't understand shit about what I do, but they support in whatever way they can.
But that's very good.
Yeah. So you know what? One thing that I changed about myself when it comes to like when I started, I was used to be quite jealous. I won't lie. Like whenever I used to see, especially we as girls, we have been raised to be more jealous of women who are doing quite good. We are we do slut shaming and all. I haven't done that, but I've seen people just dragging a woman down just because she is successful. So obviously that affected me. So I kind of realized that I'm in that space, but now that has changed. And one thing that has helped me, that I don't get involved in those arguments. If I realize that this argument is not worth it, I'm like, yeah, if you think that sun sets along with the moon or moon rises in the morning, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. You do you. That's simple as that. And the one thing that it's like a trick. It actually helps if you want to get in that argument even with your client. Sometimes that does happen. That many freelancers, I feel like one thing many people don't talk about is the red flags of a freelancer. There are many posts about red flags of a client, but not of a freelancer. There are multiple, wrong things that I've done. That I kind of thought I have to be a savage if I have to refuse a lead. So I did that. But that was a wrong move, because it's not only about you disrespecting them, but it's also about your energy. Because I kept overthinking about that thing in shower and everything. So one thing that has helped me to stop getting involved in those petty fights, even or arguments with my clients, or maybe some budget issues, whatever, is that I'm like, if I will spend 1 hour arguing and 3 hours overthinking, I would be able to do certain other things, maybe get a lead of $1,000. So obviously that's a better ROI. You asked me about the company, right?
Yeah. What is the kind of, what is your current network like?
I am networking with people who have a positive mindset. They do rant, and that's absolutely fine, but they don't just focus on the negative aspect, that I haven't done anything, or I won't be able to, what if this happens? And because these things so obviously does happen, these overthinking thoughts that I won't be able to do anything and my day wasn't productive, that this is absolutely fine. But it's actually the perspective that if your day wasn't fine, then what else? Would you just sulk up and spend your entire day sulking about your already sulked up day? Or would you be just maybe take a rest or write down why or to-do list or whatever? So this is something only I realized that my time is limited. I have only 24 hours. Either I can spend with people who are not, who have this negative mindset, because, we are reflection of who we surround ourselves with, and that also goes to our clients. Because many a times I have attracted people who are exactly like me. Like if I was a procrastinator, they were also a procrastinator who would spend around weeks to send. If I was someone who couldn't take feedback quite well, they were also my clients who weren't able to take the feedback in a positive way. So I realized that if I have to work with a high ticket, good quality, motivated client, I have to make myself that high ticket person as well.
Absolutely.
So so for company now I realize that quality over quantity, and people who make mistakes and they are just obsessed with growth. Doesn't matter if they give up or they quit or they fail or anything, but they are obsessed with growth, and they are extroverts. Because I am an ambivert, more like an introvert, so I kind of leverage their extrovert nature around me, because they just make the talk, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do that. So this actually helped me. This is some of the tips that I follow when it comes to surrounding myself with people.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. This has been such an enlightening conversation. I think we have crossed our time, maybe 45 minutes or something. But before we end this, what is your top tips for somebody who's just getting started and they want to make high income as a freelancer, and they probably know what skill they want to pursue, but they're not sure what kind of clients they're going to work with? And what is your top tips for them to, let's say, crack 1 lakh per month in the next 3 months or so? You told something in the beginning of the session, by the way. So I think you will want to talk about that now.
So first of all is creating proof of work or samples. If you are a social media, then create content on Instagram, because that's how I also got one of my clients. If you are a writer, write your own blog. If you are a designer, create design. In fact, I know someone who was a beginner only, but he got a chance to work with a very popular YouTuber. because he created some really good samples. He just re-edited those videos. He called, like, simply put a mail and he got selected. So he just moved forward at least 7 to 10 steps. So create sample work. Don't wait I have to get a client. I personally feel like, there are so many freelancers asking for how to get a client, but they don't ask how to give my client a result. The moment you will give your client, at least one of your client, or one result, strategy to hey, portfolio will get a portfolio, will get referrals, will get everything, but you will also get the confidence to pitch to other people. One of the reason I got that confidence to pitch to Sharan was I knew that I would be able to do something because I have done something because before Sharan, I got two clients like really great results. So confidence does matter. Mindset will obviously grow. So create proof of work. Second would be actually remove yourself from your business. Like, many a times we are like, we don't deserve it. Like, one of the things is like, I shouldn't ask my client if he is not paying me on time, because paisa is like, we have this very negative relationship with money, that I shouldn't ask him for a money, or I shouldn't quote him this particular price because it's too expensive. But at the moment I remove myself, that it's not about me, my business, I have a team, I have to pay my team, or I have to pay my business. So obviously I have to ask him. So removing yourself. And third will be networking. I'll call with a lead, and he was a very good lead actually, who got connected to me with someone whom I connected with like 1.5 years back. So all those channels, inbound, outbound is cold emailing, when you go out to other people and reach out. Everything is limited. Outbound is dependent on the number of emails. Inbound is dependent on the number of content. But networking is like an exponential. I can connect one person and high chances that that person can give me 5 referrals. Speaking is not difficult, trust me. The moment a freelancer can get rid of कि मुझे तो इसको दोस्त बनाना ही है, that greedy nature, you won't be able to network. Network for just fun, just for ranting and all. Or freelancing is quite lonely, especially in the start. So you want to get rid of that loneliness, just make friends, just network with people, but at the same time, be a little strategic with the people you are networking with, because they can just, drag you down along with them.
100%.
Be fast, be fast with removing those negative people. Don't overthink. I used to overthink because being a people pleaser, I was like, unko bura lag jayega and all. So I was like, as I said, removing myself from it, I was like, I don't have to hang out with this person because this person will affect my business. It's not about the person will affect me, but about my business. So I was like, I have to do it. So I just removed that person from my life. So these were few things.
I think one of the hardest realizations in business is that nobody is your friend. It's all business. And the sooner you realize that, the better for you. Because I think it happened to me like growing up. Maybe 5 years back, I would look at some people and I would like, oh, wow, these are my dream clients. This is my dream circle. And I want to be a part of the circle. I want to be. And oh my God, I became the person working for them. I became the person who knew them, got so close. And I think initially I was like, oh, wow, these are my friends now. These are my friends now. And I'm not saying that anything bad happened to me. Nothing like that. Okay. No one did anything to me at all. But after like a few months, you realize that, okay, it's just like, okay, they know I can be of help to them. And even it's the same for me as well. I also know they can be of help to me. Beyond that, proper friendship you'll not have with most people. Very few. Friendship is very selective. So don't confuse network for real friends. Of course, like friends is a very subjective term. But like, I don't think that your client is your best friend. Like those boundaries are so important in this career, because lack of that boundary will ruin your life. Like you'll ruin your mental health. So I think that is one thing I also wanted to add on to your tip.
Everything is like a transactional thing. You give and take, simple as that. And this I agree that one of my clients that I'm working with for a long time, she used to say that I'm her friend, which I really respect. But I'm friendly with my clients, but I'm not friends with my clients. And even with team member, or even with people whom I know. And I'm like, if I'm friends with you, then we can't discuss business. Business or friendship ek saath nahi chalega.
Same, I agree with that. That's why I never work with my friends. So
just, like it's up. Like I do know that I'm speaking a little too much, but
it's fine. I really like your rant.
Yeah. So the thing is, I will give you. The thing is, if I am collaborating with a friend, let's say for a project, and if I feel like she's my friend, she will be. I will be able to be more. I would be able to say something. That's a lie. You would be able to be more frank with like a stranger rather than with your friend. You won't be able to criticize your friend, because then that friend might see that she feels, arrogant. So no, don't do that. Never ever mingle your personal and business life. Don't be friends.
True. So true. Thank you so much, Vishakha, for taking out time for today's session, giving all your best advice. I will leave the links to Vishakha's social media profile. She is pretty active on social media. So please do connect with her. If you have any questions to her personally, you can always shoot it to her over LinkedIn, Instagram. She's quite active there. And if you want the links to my profiles, Freelance 101, all of them will be in the description. And if you want Vishakha's portfolio that she talked about, I have seen the portfolio. My clients have hired her because of her portfolio. It will be worth having a look at. So please do comment, I want Vishakha's portfolio, and we will send it across to you. Thank you so much for being a part of today's session, Vishakha.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for you guys for watching today's video. I hope that you had some amazing takeaways, and I'll see you with another video next week. Till then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.